Hey everyone, welcome back to the fourth installment of this web series. So where we left off previously, we created the background image and added it to the web page. So now what we need to do is we now need to start thinking about the site structure. So I've got Photoshop open, Visual Web Developer open as well. So if you look at the Photoshop document, we've got the logo in the top left. We've got the navigation in the top right, and then we've got the main content underneath. So if you look at it, it's all centered in the center of the page. So what we need to do, we need to create a way of keeping that dead center. So it's quite easy to do. So all we're going to do, if we just jump over to Visual Web Developer. Okay, so now we're over here. If you go to your master page.master, and go to the source. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove the following bit of code, like that. So we're going to add a bit of space. So we should have the opening form tag and the closing form. So in here, we're going to create a div. We're going to give it an ID. And we're going to call this page wrap. And we'll close that off, and then we've got our closing div. So we'll add a bit of space. And then I'd just like to add comments at the end so we know which closing div belongs to which opening div. So page wrap. Okay, so just a quick one. When you create IDs or classes, as you see here, I've used something called camel case. So the word is two words, but the first word has a lowercase, and then the second word has a capital. So if I was to add another word to this, the next letter here would be a capital as well. So when you're creating your styles, bear in mind if you've got a capital somewhere, you need to make sure that this style has the same thing, which I'll show you now. So if we just double click on page wrap and just copy that text, and if we come over to our style sheet, so an ID starts with this symbol here, and then we'll just paste in page wrap. So for example, if I actually changed it to that means something completely different. So like I said, bear in mind that you need to have the capitals in, because I've had quite a few people message me with that problem. Okay, so we open up our brackets and we're going to use the following code. So we're going to say margin, and we're going to say 0 auto, and then close that off. So what that's going to do, that's now going to center this page wrap div in the middle of the page. So we need to add a few more properties to this. So we're going to say width. So the width of the document is 850 pixels. And we're going to say height auto. So it expands and contracts with the content inside of it. So if we just go back to our master page, as you can see at the top here, we now have this sort of box, and it's got an equal width over here as it has over this side. If I just go back over here and change the height to say 400 pixels, you'll be able to see it better. As you can see there, that's our page wrap, so it's going to keep everything in the center of the page. So if we just go back to the style sheet and we want to change that back to auto, so we've got that part sorted. So if we just go back to our Photoshop design, so now we've got the page wrap in place, we now need to create a section for the logo and a section for the navigation. So if we just jump back to Visual Web Developer, go into the source view. So inside now of the page wrap, we need to create another div. And we're going to give this an ID as well. We're going to call this one logo, like that. And then we're going to add a comment on the end of that one so we know what it belongs to. So we'll just change that to logo. So the next one we need will be div. This will be an ID equal to nav, so for navigation. And then again, we're going to create the comment. So we'll call that nav, like so. So now we need to style both the logo and the nav div. So we'll jump back over to the style sheet. Again, add the symbol at the start and then logo. If you're a bit confused about how these styles are created, please go back to one of my previous videos